Country Station, AM 1360. We're glad you chose us. Thank you.
It's Impact with the Florida Star, the largest, oldest, and most read African-American newspaper in Northeast Florida and South Georgia.
This is Opio, and you tune into Impact, the radio show that bring you the news and views, brought to you by the Florida Star newspaper and Star TV. The Florida Star been around since 1951. The oldest, the largest black newspaper in the area. Got a great show lined up for you today. We're going to talk about the Tamir Rice case up in Cleveland. You know, the 12-year-old boy that got killed by the police officer over there. We're going to have on his mother, Samaria Rice. And also we're going to have Greer on, who's an advisor on the activist side of that case. So y'all stay tuned. This is Opio right here on Impact. I'm on the phone with Reverend Greer. Reverend Greer is really an incredible activist. I met him when we were both at SCLC. He's in Chicago. This is somebody that has connections to the UN and some of the incredible work that he's doing. And he is the point person on the activist end of the Tamir Rice situation and doing the advising on the area. How you doing, brother?
Hey, Opio. Hey, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Tell us what's the name of your organization and what do you guys do?
Well, my organization is Freedom First International, and our whole overall responsibility is human rights, civil rights, and making sure that we are continuing the legacy and the work of Dr. King, bringing justice and liberation to the oppressed.
Right. And tell us how you got involved with the Tamir Rice situation, working with Miss Samaria Rice.
Well, last November, right after Tamir was killed, I'd say a few weeks after, the family started to engage the community and put together events and forums to galvanize the public to stand on a platform and build on the platform. And I was one of the folks who accepted the call. I went down to Cleveland, since I'm about 5 hours away. And with the level of experience that we have from the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, I thought it would be a pretty good fit to try to help out and support where we could.
Okay, and what has happened in the way of the case?
Well, you know, in a lot of these cases around the country, the major deal is that, you know, we advocate and we fight all the way up into the point of the prosecutor and the grand juries, and, you know, the thing goes south very quickly at that point. And Tamir's case is a lot like Mike Brown's case, and a lot of the cases to whereas you have a prosecutor who might be who may act outside of the public interest, who may be unscrupulous in his approach. And pretty much what happened in this case, the prosecutor really had shown in a number of ways that he wasn't interested in justice for Tamir. He was interested in protecting the officers, and the indication at the highest level was that the immediate response was that the officers were exonerated or not guilty of what they did, which was a young 12-year-old child was murdered.
How do you believe that this case is any different from the other cases? Because we're seeing that it gets a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, and some of the other cases, very few of them, but we do have cases with video. One of the things that was totally distinctive in Tamir's case was there was video all the way up before the incident began, all the way through the incident, and after the incident was closed out. And the officers, Timothy Lohman and Frank Granback, who pulled up in front of Tamir Rice in the park within seconds, Lohman jumped out and fired his gun at Tamir close range, striking him in the abdomen. You know, for the next several minutes, while this young boy lay bleeding on the ground, the two officers stood by without giving him aid. You know, the specifics of it, he was trained. You know, I mean, everything that they were publicly mandated to do to help, you know, they didn't do. And inaction may have been potentially criminal, according to some of the experts who actually reviewed the case. And the majority of the folks say that, you know what, best, if it wasn't manslaughter, it should have been involuntary at best. But none of that happened, as we know.
Mm-hmm. And what do you feel should happen to those officers?
I believe that those officers should be charged with involuntary manslaughter at the least. There are indications, and the biggest debate about it is if the officers lied. You know, there were so many different disparities in their report. Now, their report wasn't taken directly because they immediately enveloped their First Amendment rights. They didn't give a report. All of the initial information came through the investigation of the Sheriff's Department. So, you know, and everything, there were several factors which were in dispute.
So where's everything now?
It's still at the prosecutor's level, at the federal district court level with the grand jury. And basically the newest development is that the prosecutor, McGinty, has been elected out of office. We've elected a new prosecutor, and that new prosecutor, there's a potential that he may be able to take the case and reconvene a grand jury, is what we're being told.
All right. Tell us a little bit about how people can get in contact with you, your organization, if they needed help from you.
Well, with Freedom First, you can look me up. Freedom First is online. It's on Facebook. My name is Greg L. Greer. You can Google me at Gregg, first name, middle initial L, and last name Greer, Greer. If you Google my name, then all of the activities, all of the organizations, and Freedom First information would definitely be there. So Greg L. Greer.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
This is Opio, and I am on the phone with Miss Samaria Rice. Now, she is the mother of Tamir Rice, the 12-year-old that was playing in the park. And police officers drove up in the park, shoots this little boy, and this goes out over the world because the mentality now is if you can't be a kid playing with a toy gun in a park without being killed, then something is wrong. Now, what's interesting about this is that this happened in Cleveland. Am I right? This happened in Cleveland, Ms. Rice?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And, of course, Cleveland just won with LeBron. They just won the big title over the Warriors. But also last night, if anybody watched the BET Awards, Mr. Williams, the actor Williams, he had a great speech, and he mentions Tamir Rice inside that incredible speech that everybody's talking about. And this is the mother right here. How you doing, Miss Rice?
I'm well. I'm doing okay. The days could be difficult, but today I'm doing okay. I did happen to catch the BET Awards last night, and I was just overjoyed and overwhelmed with Jesse Williams speaking upon social justice and mentioning my son's name and many others. That was a great job he did, and a phenomenal job. And I couldn't be happier. I think that more should be like him and follow what he does. Absolutely.
Take us through what happened and how did you find out about it? And before you do that, I just want to tell people that I know Miss Tamir Rice. I've actually been sort of an advisor on the activist side of the issue, and so I just want to put that out there so you're not thinking that I'm just talking to Miss Rice for the first time today. Okay,
absolutely.
Tell us what happened, how you found out. Take us through that day.
Well, it was a typical Saturday and, a normal day for me and my family. Tamir and Tajay is always going over to the recreation center, and it's a park area. And on Saturdays particular, they had available for the children. So they went over there to take access to the Wi-Fi in the gym, which provides a basketball, jump rope, things for the kids, and also it's a park area. Even though it was the middle of November, the kids still will still play at the park area because there wasn't that much snow outside. I was at home cooking, and I got a knock at the door by two children from the area. Said the police just shot your son. And my 16-year-old was laying on the couch, and he stormed out the door, and I was really in shock and denial and told the boys that they didn't know what they was talking about. My kids are playing in the park. My son was laying on the ground, and it was 10 officers surrounding ground. My daughter was in the back of the police car, and my son was surrounded by the police. So I had my daughter to the left, along with Tamir and my other son to the right. And at this point, the police told me to calm down, or they would put me back in the police car because I was trying to get to my children, telling them that Tajay is 14, you need to let her go, and also trying to get to my son. So they really gave me an ultimatum after that. As I arrived, also the ambulance arrived, and they gave me an ultimatum to either go with Tamir, or stay with my other children that had to stay at the scene of the crime. So of course I got in the ambulance and I went to the hospital with Tamir, riding in the front seat as a passenger, so I never got a chance to be in the back with Tamir. So that's how that event happened that day, and he was pronounced dead that night about 1 o'clock in the morning. So that's how that day went for me. And my life has been, it feels like a nightmare, and it has been in a whirlwind of emotions and tragedy.
Now, tell me, as a result of this, what have you been doing? And I know that you've been talking about this. There's been activism around the whole deal. Tell me that part of it.
I initially was in a blur because I've been through 2 sets of attorneys, and when I finally got with my last set, Greer from Freedom First International had introduced me to a lot of people, far as that were be honest to me and just help me, far as Billy Mills, yourself, and together with Billy Mills and my uncle, they developed my team, which includes Chicago and New York and Cleveland. So that's what my journey been, fighting justice for Tamir, along with my team and Greg, and also strategically doing things with Black Lives Matter. My cousin Latanya Goldsby has been playing a big part in Cleveland, Ohio, keeping Tamir memory alive, keeping his name out there, and just doing the right thing at the end of the day, because the whole world seen what happened to my son. Right. And I just don't understand how can, the whole world not see what's going on, and we need some accountability, They seen it. Everybody's seen it.
So what happened to
we need some accountability out here.
So what happened to the police officers? Tell us what happened after the police officers killed 12-year-old Tamir Rice.
Well, from what I was told, they went to not active, but like a desk job or something in the gym, where they had some light duty. I don't really think they're active in the community, but as of right now, we're definitely trying to get them officers fired. My attorney and my cousin Latanya Goldsby, along with also another young lady, Ryan Brown, and Kareem, that's coming out of Cleveland, that's trying to get these officers fired. So we're trying to work all together to get it done. Because from my knowledge, they're still working. Like, they're still getting paid. Like I'm not understanding what's going on. And I'm still seeking an indictment from the Department of Justice as well. We're in conversation with them. So, they have an investigation going on, and we're in close conversation with them at this point. I'm really asking to request to speak to Loretta Lynch at this point because my initial meeting was with Vanita Gupta, but I really need to speak to Loretta Lynch. So me and my uncle is going to put together a letter, and we're going to try to reach out to her along with my attorneys, because I need to understand why I can't have an indictment for the murder of my son. I need to be able to understand that.
So what has happened is right after they shot him, I guess there was a local investigation from the police department.
It was a local, state, it was no indictment, because Prosecutor McGinty really never had no intentions fighting for my son. The way he performed the whole case, to me, in my eyes, he did not advocate properly for my son, and that's just what I seen.
You've been around and you've been speaking to young people. You've been speaking to colleges. Tell us a little bit about what are you getting and what are you talking to the college people about? What are they asking you?
Well, it's just not so much what they're asking me. I'm just really trying to let them know that, as I do the speaking tours across America, along with Ryan Brown helping me, you know what I'm saying? Because she has been a great help to me, and she is a college Mizzou student. She also did some organizing for Black Lives Matter. But I have offered her a position on the Tamir Rice Foundation. And so as I do these tours across America, I just really need for our white Americans that think that they're privileged and that rules don't apply to them, they need to all stand up and unify with us so we can have some change across across America. We're all human beings, and that's basically the message that I try to send to them. And also just talking about my son and where I'm at and what I'm trying to do with the foundation, as far as give away scholarship, 4 to 6 year scholarships, implement a mentoring program into the foundation, also an art program to educate and empower our children out here, and learn to give back to the community. So I just talk about various things. I talk about how I am here to make the government uncomfortable. At this point, we want accountability for our children's murders. You know what I'm saying? We just want accountability, period. And that's just it.
Now, what kind of person was Tamir Rice? What did he like to do?
Tamir was 12 for 5 months, so my baby had just turned 12. He turned 12 July 25th, so he was only June 25th. He was, I said July, that's my other son, June 25th. And he was just still more like he was a kid. He was just a big kid. He loved to get on Wi-Fi and play those games on the internet. He loved to play sports, basketball, football, swimming, soccer. He was a mommy's helper. That's just who he was. I mean, he was a gentle giant, and you wouldn't always hear something positive coming from his teachers and everything. I mean, I sacrifice a lot to invest into my children for them to be productive citizens in the world. You know what I'm saying? So he was a all-American kid, let me say that. And he was a joy to our family, absolutely.
Now, anytime somebody think Cleveland now, they think Tamir Rice. Now, when on social media, when the Cavs won the NBA title, you start hearing Tamir Rice. How does that feel? And have other entertainers reached out to you?
Well, no, but what I want to say about the Cavs is that it was a win that was much needed. I did an interview on Channel 3, and like I said, it was a win that's much needed, and it was very impressive to see the unity in the city and everybody loving on each other. They need to be able to do that for this racism problem that's in America at this point. And that's just the bottom line.
Right.
And, you don't come together just for the championship together. It's a problem with racism in America. If you can love on each other for that, you definitely can love on the racism part. That's why I talk about the white privileged Americans, how you think the rules don't apply to you. It does apply to you, and you need to be setting examples and come together as unified. You know what I'm saying? So, yes.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
So you have a criminal justice system that I think you've recognized at this point that there's racism within that criminal justice system, and it seems that we have to recognize that. We know it is, and so there has to be real steps towards eliminating racism within the criminal justice system.
Yes, and it's going to take for all of us to unify and be on one accord in order for that to happen.
So tell us about this foundation. What do you want to accomplish with this foundation?
I want to be able to give children 4 to 6 year full scholarships, let them live out their dreams, let them learn to give back to their communities. Also want to implement mentoring for boys and girls. Tamir benefit from mentoring programs. Tamir been in mentoring for 4 years straight, and he benefit from it. So I think it's very helpful to have mentoring for boys and girls, and also my art program I want to implement into my foundation. And it may be some few other things, but that's what I'm focused on right now, and continue to do my speaking tours across this nation.
12 years old was really, really young. That was really
Yes,
young
sir.
for a life to be taken. And is it your feeling that when this happened to Tamir, that people become sensitized by it? Or do you feel that people are just kind of like, well, that's just another one that happened, and we're just going to have to fight to make sure it doesn't happen again?
No, they're very sensitized. No, they're very affected. Let me just not even use that. They're affected by it. I have people who have reached out for me all over the world just to show gratitude and their condolences. And these people are affected. They're affected. They're crying on the phone to me. They don't even know me. They meet me in person. They just crying and hugging all on me. I mean, and I embrace it. Don't get me wrong. I embrace it, because what else I'm going to do? But it's affect the whole world. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it has. It is so interesting because so many people have died in police brutality, but somehow with Tamir Rice, you constantly hear that name, and you constantly wondering, is that something that if you continue to bring up that name and that case and that incident, will that be something that can make these changes happen? Because we're talking about a kid playing with a toy gun in a park. A phone call caused the police to come out there, and a kid playing with a toy gun in the car that did not say anything to threaten a police officer ultimately gets shot and killed while police officers stand there and allow the boy to suffer on the ground.
Yeah, and the bad thing about it, sir, is that the police officer, Timothy Loman, had been rejected 5 times from the sheriff department or these other local agents, these other local police departments that wanted him. They told him no. And I don't know how he managed to get through Cleveland's the police department, when he had already been people had already was telling him no. Like, they told him no. He's falling. He's breaking down on the gun range. He's not following the chief or the lieutenant orders. He's careless. He's careless, and what it is that from what they told me is that his father was friends with Calvin Chief Williams, and and that's how he slipped through the cracks, because his father is a U.S. Marshal, and I guess they owed each other a favor. He's the chief of police, Calvin Williams. Yes, that's what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what I heard. And if that's the case, that you let this man come in knowing that everybody else rejected him, and now my baby is dead, it's a problem.
Right.
Yes. It's a problem.
What do you want to see across the country in the way to make sure this type of thing doesn't happen again? Are there some things like body cameras or citizen review boards or...
Well, actually, we need to create some laws for some change. That's the bottom line. That's where I'm at. We're going to create some laws to hold these officers accountable for it. Make them get some insurance policies. Make them have some random background checks, mental checks, or drug testing. I mean, we're expecting these people to protect us at the end of the day. We can't have them all messed up. If you know what I'm saying, if they messed up in the head, why are you protecting us? Right. No, we need some changes. We need some laws changed. That's where I'm at.
I wanted to mention again the speech that Jesse Williams made on the BET Awards, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to express something to him as well as other people who have lifted your son's name up and keeping everything alive.
Okay, well, once again, I just want to say thank you to Jesse Williams. That speech was so powerful, and it was very much needed, and I hope that others will look at him as an example and follow what he's doing with his platform. It is so much needed in the world right now at this moment. I just want to say thank you to everybody. Beyonce did a beautiful job with her performance of Freedom. I was very impressed with that because people have to understand I look at things in a different eye. You know what I'm saying? I used to be, Beyonce. I'm looking at it for what it's worth now, and they know that. They know that because I'm all about speaking against the government. At the end of the day, this cannot continue to keep going on in America, and people like Jesse Williams, and many more. You know, we need them out here. Absolutely.
All right, thank you, Miss Samaria Rice.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Hope you enjoyed this program. This Tamir Rice, 12-year-old, that was gunned down by a Cleveland police officer. What a sad situation. Playing with a toy gun at a park. Said nothing to the police that would make them think that he was going to shoot them, that he had a real gun. Just a horrible situation. And so we got to hear his mother talk about how she felt and some of the things that she's doing, including her Tamir Rice Foundation that she's getting up and running, and that's going to continue to bring light on the situation. Also, we had the Reverend Greer from Freedom First Foundation on the job, boots on the ground, dealing with the issue, particularly on the activist side. It's an issue that is not going away. We have to continue to deal with it. The great part of this is that something positive can come out of it. We've heard individuals mention it. We've seen people all throughout social media and talk about the case of Tamir Rice, a young child gunned down by the police. And so at this point, we would like to figure out the things that can be done, particularly where police brutality and police accountability is concerned. All right, I got to get out of here. I will see you next time. Continue to pick up a copy of the Florida Star newspaper, and you will be able to watch this show on 18.2 Star TV, and we'll make sure we get this put up online so you can continue to watch it. And any type of way you can donate and help the Tamir Rice Foundation, be sure you get in contact with Miss Samaria Rice, as well as that activist organization, Freedom First Foundation, under Reverend Greer. Make sure you contact them, any issue concerning civil and human rights. All right, this is Opio. I will see you next time on Impact.